Are you with me, Monika? Monika, can you hear me? Monika, can you? Can you go back to Zoom? Zoom.
Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try that.
I go back to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right.
Can you hear?
No,
Oh.
still can't hear you. Sorry.
Can you hear now? Can you hear now? No? Can you hear? Can you hear now?
No.
Can you hear now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Oh.
Awesome.
It says sync buttons on the headset. I don't know what that is about.
That's awesome. We made it.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm sorry about that.
No worries at all. Technology is great when it works.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm very, very excited that you took some time to talk to me and my students. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of yours and the work you've done over the last many years to teach people about microbiology, which they're often very, very ignorant, unfortunately. So may I ask you how you get started with all this, sort of over the last years? I mean, you're prolific writing and, the message is just absolutely powerful.
So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. This was a pleasure. I haven't been teaching for more than a decade, so it's really nice to get back into contact with students. Of course, they get younger every year, don't they? But anyway, I really enjoy being with young people. So this is a very nice experience again. So how did I get involved in it? Well, the world is different now. The world in the 21st century is very different from the world in the 20th century. And as you and I have progressed through the last couple of decades, we've been challenged by more and more crises and problems and things that we haven't seen before. And of course, microbes are involved in many of these things, either positively or negatively or both. And so I thought, well, the handling the microbes is really a central part of the strategy of humanity to deal with the problems that are confronting it. So, but not only do most people not know about microbes, but they're not aware of their involvement in these problems. So I thought there really is a case to bring microbiology into their lives. The problem is, of course, that academic microbiology is you cannot bring it to them. They don't understand it and they don't see the relevance of it. So the question is, how can you focus on the relevant bits of it and bring it to a language which can be communicated. So that was the beginning of the initiative.
That's pretty cool. And so I think the microbial literacy paper was one of the first one in 2019, right?
Yeah.
And since then you've been very prolific in collaborating with people from all around the world, which is impressive.
Indeed.
Great.
So shall I start?
Yes, please.
Try and share my screen. Have to.
And so you're located in Germany or in Switzerland?
In Geneva. It's
In
just,
Geneva. Wow, that's a beautiful place. Fantastic.
shout at me if you see what I've got on the screen. I don't see it.
Not yet.
Not yet. So what do I have to do?
There's at the bottom, there should be a green button say share screen.
Yeah, I've had that already. So desktop 1. So you're not seeing it, right?
And you should be able to share it without problems.
You know, I see people every day having problems with this, and I never had it before, but today I have the problem. It's amazing. It says recording. Oh, I'm sorry about this.
Problem.
What I need is you here with me to be able to fix it.
Yeah. So again, it's just at the bottom. It just says share screen,
Yeah.
and then you should be able to see a computer and then just choose either the app or desktop and then say share.
So I see this screen. It says.
You can share desktops or whiteboard, just share the desktop and then say share at the bottom right.
Yeah, it says desktop 1, and I click share and nothing. It says open system preferences.
Oh,
So what do I have to do in system preferences?
no, technically nothing.
Okay.
You could send me the file and I could maybe have it on my screen. But you shouldn't need to go to system preferences.
Oh, it's talking about recording now.
If you send me the file,
Okay, let me see. It's 100 MBs.
Could you share a link? Do you have it saved in the cloud?
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. So I've sent it, and the
It's downloading.
can you access?
It's still downloading.
Wow.
It's still downloading. Let's take a look. It's good that the sharing didn't work without any problems.
It worked or it didn't work?
It's strange that it didn't work.
Maybe that my Wi-Fi signal's too weak. Should we go back to Teams and see if that works now? Because the we fixed the problem with the sound.
It should be downloaded soon. It says 30 seconds left. Yeah, it's coming. Almost down.
So let me ask in the meantime, how many students?
Oh, I reach a lot of students. So we have 1,000 students in our major. I have 1,000 students from all over campus. I teach every semester. And then I have 170 in the Microbes Without Borders class as well. So you'll be famous around you.
So how many? So are you? So this is live or you're recording?
I'm recording it.
It's just live.
We have spring break right now, so we don't have students on campus.
Okay, so there's not 1,000 students sitting there frustrated because
No. They will enjoy it. They will enjoy it.
So you can edit.
And all right. Can you see it?
Yep.
Perfect. And let's do presentation mode. And you just tell me. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Let me switch the. Is it technical? Here we go. That's working now, right?
Yep.
Okay, what screen do you see? Do you see the presenter screen or the one slide?
I actually see the PowerPoint, and everything that we're both saying is, or you're saying is coming up as text on the
Okay.
below that.
I think we're all good to go. All yes, you just let me know when I need to advance the slide.
Okay, so yeah, so anyway, it's a pleasure to be here and talk to you about microbiology literacy. So I've entitled this A Path to Material Improvement in Societal and Planetary Wellbeing, and I'll return to this at the end of the talk. So we can go to the next one. So the initiative to bring microbiology literacy in society was kicked off with this editorial in Environmental Microbiology. Next slide. It was entitled The Urgent Need for Microbiology Literacy in Society. And this kicked off in 2019, the International Microbiology Literacy Initiative, whose goal is to enable us to create a microbiology literate society. So the next slide. So what I'd like to deal with today is why society needs to become microbiology literate, how society could become microbiology literate, what is needed and what is being created, and then how students might contribute to the initiative and why they should. The next slide. So why society needs to become microbiology literate. So there are a number of reasons, I think, and I'm only going to give a few of them, but there are others. So the first one is planetary importance. So microbes are the great transformers, the cyclers and the recyclers. They're pervasive in their activities and they affect the planet in many ways. The next slide. For instance, they interact with more than a half of all the elements in the periodic table. They generate a large amount of the oxygen that is respired in the biosphere. They recycle most of the waste of the biosphere, and they're responsible for 2/3 of oceanic carbon fixation, which is important, of course, for the issue of global warming. The next slide. So microbes are the life support system of the biosphere, and we neglect them at our peril. The next one. The second reason is sustainability importance. So the developmental trajectory of humanity has long been sustainable. The next. And this led the United Nations to develop the Sustainable Development Goals. And the objective of this is to put humanity on a more sustainable trajectory. The next. The thing is that these have to be attained by 2030 in order to really make a difference and reorient the developmental trajectory of humanity. But they're way behind schedule and they're unlikely to be achieved on time, and some of them will probably never be achieved. So microbial processes are crucial to efforts to achieve sustainable development goals. Just think about provision of clean water or reducing the amount of pollution in the environment. But the problem is that they're not on the radar screens of the decision takers, and therefore they are vastly underexploited. The third reason is crisis importance. So microbes are at the center of multiple intertwined, and I emphasize existential crises that we face at the moment. Next. And the first of these is global warming, climate tipping points. Next. And these diminish living space, and this creates overcrowding and human migrations. And in the United States, you are faced with a considerable problem of human migrations, as is Europe is faced with the same problem. So this is exacerbated by global warming. Then we come to planetary boundaries and eutrophication crisis. So one of the planetary boundaries is nitrogen, and this is leading to major problems in terms of eutrophication. The next. And then we have the soil crisis and desertification, so loss of soils, but also loss of agricultural land. The next. And we have the clean air crisis. Microbes can capture pollutants in air and remove them. So that's an example of a major problem that we have: clean air and a lack of application of microbes to achieve it. And then we have this major issue of which is a polycrisis of poverty, starvation, lack of sanitation, lack of clean water, lack of healthcare, lack of a clean environment. The next. Then we have the pollution crisis. Next. And then you have the antimicrobial resistance crisis. And this is considered by the World Health Organization to be the biggest challenge facing us at the moment. The next. And there are two important reports that have analyzed the antimicrobial resistance problem: the O'Neill report in 2016 and a new report by UNEP in 2023. And they analyzed the problem and they proposed solutions, but incredibly, no mention of education is mentioned as part of the solution. Then we have resurgence of almost eradicated diseases. These are childhood diseases: measles, whooping cough, and diphtheria, which were almost eradicated, but now they're returning to plague us again. The next one. And of course, pandemics of new diseases, and the next one. So for policymakers and decision takers to effectively respond to crises, they have to understand the causes of the crises, and they have to be aware of potential remedies. And since microbiology is central to many of these, they must become microbiology literate. Then there's the socioeconomic importance. So microbe-based processes and technologies contribute substantially to societal well-being. The next. So microbes provide new therapies, vaccines, diagnostic in healthcare, new chemicals and materials. They enable production of energy from renewables and wastes. Microbes are sources of food. They're sources of fermented foods and flavorings. They are a major parameter that determines crop yields and food security. They enable the gentle recovery of natural resources through biomining. They are pivotal in waste management, recycling, and bioremediation, and they represent an expanding commercial sector. They are the core of the bioeconomy. Next slide. So understanding the long-term socio-economic and health and environmental promise of microbial technologies will promote development of more effective policies for societal well-being. Next, please. Then there's the personal importance. So microbes are part of us. Next. We and most other animals and plants are covered in microbes. There are microbiomes, and these provide essential services and regulate to a significant extent our well-being. Next. So microbes and microbiomes are the life support systems of individuals. And again, we neglect them at our peril. Next. Just a few examples to show you, to illustrate how everyone is affected on a regular basis by microbial processes and how we need to understand them to make evidence-based everyday decisions the rule rather than the exception. Next, please. So, for example, whether we have a hamburger for lunch, considering the carbon and environmental footprint of beef, how we move around and the environmental footprint of the transportation mode, whether we prevent disease by vaccination or we take the chance to get an infection and the need for therapy, how much to ventilate our homes and workplaces, how much to humidify our homes and workplaces, whether to use cleaning products that contain powerful disinfectants to clean our home, whether to use phosphorus-containing household cleaning products, and so on and so on. The next, please. And the final reason I want to give you is stewardship importance. So we're responsible for steering our personal lives and those of our families and communities. And if we are in politics or in captains of business, we are responsible for steering ultimately humanity in the biosphere. The next slide. So as adults, we need relevant knowledge, next, to understand our world, humanity, our needs, the risks we are facing. The next, to assess and develop informed objective opinions and policies. Next, to make rational, accountable decisions, because as you know, knowledge counteracts bias, prejudice, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. The next, to take productive, accountable actions. And next, to assume our stakeholder responsibilities. The next. But this is probably the most important slide that I'm going to present today. Stewardship is not just our job. The next. So our children are the future stewards. Next. They will be faced by many of the problems that face us, but they'll also need to correct mistakes that we are making now. Next. So our kids of today are part of the solution tomorrow. So we have the responsibility to provide our children with the knowledge and understanding that will enable them to fulfill their stewardship obligations. We have a duty of care. Next. So teaching our children relevant aspects of microbiology is part of the generational contract to ensure effective intergenerational stewardship. So microbiology literacy is essential to transit from ignorance-based decisions and chance-based outcomes to knowledge-based stewardship of our lives, the biosphere, and the planet. Next. So to teach our children societally relevant aspects of microbiology and to achieve microbiology literacy in society, key microbiology topics must be incorporated into school curricula. Next. And this requires creation of a comprehensive microbiology school curriculum for different age groups and settings. Next. This curriculum doesn't exist. And so the overarching aim of the IMLI is to provide this curriculum and thereby function as an enabler of microbiology literacy. Next, please. Before I go into describing the resources that are being created, I want to emphasize a couple of things that are key attributes of the resources that are needed for not only for children but also for the whole of education. So I start with the 3 R's: relevance, 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 and the 3 E's: excitement. We need to excite children and anyone in the audience. I need to excite you, for example. Engagement. We have to engage the audience. And empowerment. The audience has to feel empowered by the information that we transfer. And there are various ways to empower an audience. But of course, the information that we transmit itself is an empowerment because knowledge is power. Okay, thank you. Next one. So the resources. Next. So the core of the resources is the curriculum. And this is 300 plus class lessons, which I'm going to call topic frameworks. The next. So our handicap is, of course, that microbes are invisible. So we have to invest a considerable amount of effort in visualization. And this is both images and multimedia teaching aids. So comics, videos, games, and so on. The next. And because they're invisible, microbes don't have personalities, they don't have characters. And so we want to endow the important microbes that we talk about with personalities and characters. And we do this through the MicroStar portrait galleries. More on that in a moment. Next, please. We need to immerse the children, immerse them in discovery of the microbes around us. And we can do this through class excursions, taking them, for instance, to a wastewater treatment plant, or even to the supermarket where we can observe and discuss things. Immerse them in microbiology through direct engagement with microbes, the class experiments. And here you see one of the E words, engagement. Next one, please. immersion, and another E word, connecting them to the excitement of discovery through enabling them to participate virtually in sampling campaigns to exciting places. The next one. Engagement and empowerment, these are E words again. So children as multiplicators by providing home assignments, family friend projects, citizen science projects, and encouraging them to spread their knowledge via social networking, to become microbiology ambassadors, and to involve them in curriculum development. Next, please. So here we see the concept. Please just go through them. So in school, they are taught by the teacher with the topic frameworks, aided by visual aids, portrait galleries, class experiments, and class excursions. And at home, they have homework, portrait galleries again, home projects, sometimes involving portrait galleries, citizen science projects. And I should say that all of these teaching resources are being created pro bono by hundreds of microbiologists worldwide, and they're going to be freely available. Next slide, please. So let me come to topic frameworks. Next slide. So these are the class lessons. So they're child-centric, relevant topics where microbes play an important and interesting role. Next one. So the generic knowledge outlines. This is an important idea which is different from most curricula. They are generic. They're frameworks adaptable to most age groups in diverse settings. The next one. They're written in non-specialist language for teachers, and the teachers select the information within the topic framework that they wish to transmit and interpret. And because they have this choice, they can adapt the information to different age groups and teaching needs, and that's why they're generic. Next one. They place the topic treated not only in its human and microbiological context, but also in the context of wider issues, sustainability, for example. Next. They identify relevant decision issues. Remember one of the justifications I gave you for microbiology literacy is to aid informed decision-making. So the microbiology presented in the topic framework is also discussed in terms of its importance for decision issues. Next one. And we hope to create awareness of stakeholder responsibility through class exercises. Next. And of course, all of this relates to context and relevance, and it aims to promote critical thinking. Next. So another fairly unique element of the topic frameworks is that they are standalone. So teachers can mix and match. They can select which topics that they find most interesting. And this empowers teachers and pupils, who are the key stakeholders in education, who can select what they find to be important and relevant. And finally, the topic frameworks will have a dynamic evolution. So new topic frameworks can be added continually, and less relevant ones dropped. And again, this empowers teachers and pupils because they can influence not only what they are learning about, but also the evolution of the curriculum. Next, please. Next, please. So what do we mean by a child-centric, child-relevant topics? Next. So most important, relevant to them personally, okay? But also relevant to sustainability, to decision-making, to behavior, to fulfillment of stewardship and stakeholder responsibilities. So what I'd like to do is to show you a few examples to illustrate relevance. Next, please. So these 300 plus topic frameworks are organized in 20 sections, okay? Our plants next. Our animals next. Food and beverages next. Personal microbiology. Our well-being. Our infections. Our planet. Global warming, water. Global microbiology, adventures and discovery. New frontiers, microbial gifts, biotechnology, future, the past, civilization, our microbial friends, microbial well-being. Microbes are also organisms that that get sick or feel well, and it's interesting to discuss microbes in terms of their well-being. Okay, just a few more specific examples. So this is section 4, our personal microbiology. Next, please. And we start, there are 3 subsections here: bodies, minds, and moods. So what teenager is not concerned about acne or armpit odor or dandruff or the skincare products? What's in them that microbes can contribute? Taking care of our teeth, bad breath, microbiology of romance and reproduction. What teenager is not fascinated by the topic of romance? Indeed, adults are too, of course. So the next slide. Our homes, the microbes in our homes, our pets, we'll look at that in a moment. Our windows, sources of fresh air and airborne infections, moisture damage in our home, and play, children's play and sports and holidays, swimming, boating, travel and camping. Next, please. Okay, so what does a topic framework look like? Well, it starts with a title page. This page is about this topic is about pet dogs. Next. And the title page has an image, and the image is meant to encapsulate the topic being discussed, and also meant to grab the attention of the children. And the image has a question that relates to it. So in this case, Maisie has just been given a gorgeous little puppy for her birthday. Can we have one? This is a question that many families are faced with, and they need to take a decision. So although there are quite a few elements to such a decision, there are some microbiological elements. Next one, please. So the point of departure is, where possible, the child relevance of the topic and not the microbiology. Next. So the body of the topic framework, the relevant microbiology issues treated here. So next. So of course, a dog brings in a lot of new microbes into the home that get picked up by the family and especially the child. So this increased exposure increases microbial diversity of the microbiomes of the family members. So they learn about microbial diversity. And with young children, this contributes to development of a healthy immune system. So they learn a little bit about the immune system. Pets can get infected, and so they learn about pet infections. And some of these infections can be transmitted to family members, and these are called zoonotic infections. Next one. And this, of course, is relevant to. No, can you go back? This is relevant to COVID, of course. Some of these infections can be prevented by vaccines, and so they learn about vaccines and vaccination. The pet dog has to be fed, and the production of dog food comes with a very considerable environmental footprint. Also, the production of dog food comes with a dietary energy and agricultural resource commitment, and these two things together compete with the production of food for humans, and hence food security. And finally, dogs pollute the environment. So they learn about environmental footprints, they learn about agricultural resources, and they learn about pollution. The next slide, please. So I mentioned that they also place, the topic framework also places the topic in the context of wider issues, for instance, sustainability. Next. Next. And so here is one that I've just discussed, namely food security. Next, please. But in reality, pet dogs, the microbiology of pet dogs has relevance for 8. The next slide, please. 8 of the 17 SDGs. And all of these are discussed and explained in the topic framework. Next, please. Then identification of relevant decision issues. Next, please. Next, please. So the first decision, of course, is whether or not to acquire a dog. But once that decision is taken, if it's positive, then the question is, what kind of a dog? So large or small? So the environmental energetic footprint will be approximately proportional to size. The next one. At the community level, there are local environmental consequences, pollution of public spaces and local water bodies with feces, nitrogen, and phosphorus. I should say that this is really substantial, and this has consequences for underlying aquifers. And if these aquifers are sources of drinking water, then there's an implication for cleaning up the drinking water. The next slide. And at the national level, we have the issue of greenhouse gas production and global warming associated with the agricultural commitment to dog food production. These are examples. So there are other things discussed in the topic frameworks. I'm just giving you some illustrations. The next slide, please. And then creating awareness of stakeholder responsibility. The next one. So this involves class discussions. So class discussions of issues associated with dog ownership, stakeholder awareness issues, and so on. Can you think of anything you might personally do to reduce the environmental footprint of your dog? Next slide. Next. The next. So these are just a few examples of other topic frameworks, and just to give you an impression of the topics themselves, but also their relevance to the children. So foodborne microbial disease, susceptibility to infection. Next. Taking care of our teeth, diagnostics. Next. Our microbiomes, what do they do for us? The microbiome, gut-brain axis, and mental health. Next. Food animal plagues. Why are we not allowed to take our nice ham sandwich across borders? Infections endangering aquatic wild animals. Next. Plant health, microbes of the rumen. Why can cows eat grass but not us? Next. Biodeterioration of stonework, the phosphorus cycle. Next. This is an article from The Guardian just a couple of days ago. The phosphate fertilizer crisis threatens world food supply. Next. This is relevant. Antibiotics in the environment and antibiotic resistance. What happens to a whale when it dies? The next. Recovery of resources from wastewater. The uses of microbes as materials. The next. Agriculture and global warming. Eutrophication and algal blooms. The next. And now we come to Star Wars, microbiology and space exploration, and microbially based life support systems for interplanetary travel. Next. So these were some examples of the topic frameworks that are that will be part of the curriculum. So I mentioned the issue of portrait galleries, so I come to that now. The next. So as I mentioned, we want to create microbial personalities and characters of bugs with a serious claim to fame. Next. So we have the microstar galleries. The next. Micro rogues galleries. So these are the pathogens. The next one. Micro defenders. These are microbes that protect us from harm. The next. Micro designer stars. These are the cell factories. The next. And these are micro weirdos, strange microbes. The next. So what exactly are these portrait galleries? Next. So they're portraits, short exposés, one page of text, plus images of famous bugs that allow children to get up close and learn important details of the most famous actors carrying out the activities described in the topic frameworks. Next. So the aims of them is to create micro personalities, mental images in the children, explanatory materials that complement topic frameworks, discussion topics, comparative materials. Next. And their uses are in the class for classwork, homework, class presentations, discussions, research projects, class competitions, debates, and even creative arts. Next. 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 So to illustrate the relevance of some of the topic of the microstar galleries, here's a micro defender. So Alka, its claim to fame, cleaning the oceans of oil. Next one. Micro defender Pseudo, its claim to fame, protection of plants against pathogens. Next one.
Sorry.
Wolba, its claim to fame, it's a bacterium which manipulates the reproduction of arthropods, and it's used for the biocontrol of mosquito-borne diseases. Next one. Brock, its claim to fame, cleaning our wastewater of all the nitrogenous material in it. Next one. So here's now a rogue, the crypto siblings. Their claim to fame, AIDS patients, infections, and life-threatening diseases. Next one. And this is Galley, and its claim to fame, it reduces egg production in chicken. And I think eggs are very much on the breakfast menu for many children. So I think the relevance of this is fairly clear as well. Okay, next one. So here's a microstar, Spiru, its claim to fame, nature's perfect superfood. And this is really relevant. First of all, because of global warming resulting from food animals, but also for food security, but also for global warming. The next one. Here's another microstar, Tacos, and its claim to fame, it grows at high temperatures and has revolutionized biology. Just think of PCR. Next one. Okay, so that's a description of some of the education resources. I don't discuss the others because we don't have time. And now, what about their uses? Okay, so obviously the primary target for these resources is the school and children, but they also have uses in other contexts. So if I could have the next slide. So I think the concept that we're presenting and the content and the organization of teaching of the TFs may provide inspiration for new ideas about content of microbiology courses in university. Next one. And those focused directly on sustainability may be used for courses on sustainability, because quite a few universities now are considering the institution of mandatory courses on sustainability or climate crisis to be taken by all undergraduates entering the university. Next slide. And of course, undergraduate and postgraduate projects can involve the creation of IMLE teaching resources. Next one. To give you some examples, next one. Portrait galleries. Next. So I've mentioned the portrait galleries. There are a lot of them. I've only mentioned a few. Next. We also have portrait galleries, not just of microbes, but also of their products and their processes. So vaccines, medicines, diagnostics, and so on. Next. But also galleries of the main discoverers of microbes and their processes. So there are lots of portrait galleries that are in the works, and a lot need to be created. So plenty of opportunity for undergraduate, postgraduate projects creating the portrait galleries. The next one. Then there are multimedia teaching aids, and I just give you a couple of examples of projects from, in this particular case, bachelor's projects from the University of Essex. So this is an interactive poster on red and green tides. It's a beautiful poster. I can provide you with the links if you'd like to look at it. The next one, please. From the same year, a regular poster, Sensing the Environment. The next one. Same cohort. This is a quiz on symbiosis and quorum sensing. The next one. This is Bobby's quiz. The next one. So yes, just to conclude, so the contributors of all of these resources are literally hundreds, and I suspect there will be more than 1,000 of enthusiastic microbiologists worldwide. Next one. all are world citizens contributing pro bono to promote an understanding of microbiologically impacted world problems and facilitate solutions and mitigation. The next one. The Emily vision, it's bringing about material change in society. And this brings me back to the title of the talk. So the next one. So imagine that schools worldwide teach societally relevant microbiology, that children worldwide learn how microbes play key roles in their own health and that of the biosphere and the planet. Imagine that children worldwide learn about the 3 S's: stewardship, stakeholder responsibility, and sustainability. And imagine that they become adults worldwide who take informed decisions on issues where microbes play a role at the level of the individual, the family, the community, the nation, and the planet. The next one, please. Next one. So there are lots to do. Next one. So the question I pose to you, wouldn't you like to contribute to bringing about material change? Thank you very much.
That was excellent. Are you still here?
What happened?
I'm trying to get back to Zoom. Here we go. I thought I lost you for a second. Yeah, that was a fantastic overview. It's really absolutely amazing what you've done and put together, and really trying to shake and move the whole world to get this out to the people and everybody, and especially to the next generation. So yes, I'm in.
That's good. So I hope your students can participate and contribute. The more I talk about this, the more people like you are either involved in trying to provide outreach possibilities for students and to educate them in outreach and its importance, and the question then is what kind of projects can they do that relate to outreach, and I think these resources offer some options.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely fascinating. I have in the Microbes Without Borders, the part of their class is to develop an outreach project, and so that's why you're gonna get the motivation through you as well. And then 2 weeks ago, one of the young teachers at a middle school, she had a germ zoo, and the students all displayed their projects, and it was fantastic what they did. I mean, just really, I've never seen something like that before. So I'm working with the schools as a school district. We have a group in Gainesville called Hands on Gainesville, and they are also into active learning and getting into school. And I think educating teachers is really important, because teaching usually does not involve microbiology education. So I'll get in touch with our education department as well and see if we can develop a couple of activities for the teachers to learn about microbiology as well. So
You started out by asking how I got started in
yes.
this, and I didn't give you the correct answer, because the correct answer was that when I was a first-year graduate student, this was at the University of Bristol. I learned that Bristol had a department called the Department of Extramural Studies, and this department had a massive program of teaching for the general public in Bristol. And I and another graduate student decided that we would like to try and diffuse some microbiology knowledge in the wider community. And so we held a course called Microbes and Man, and this was extremely well attended and extremely popular. And so then we decided to repeat it, but not to individuals, but rather to multiplicators, to teachers. And so the next year we held the first course was a course that was running once a week over a semester, but the second course was, I think, done over 1 week. It was much more intense, and it was microbes for teachers, or microbiology for teachers. So that was I don't know, 55 years ago or something like that, and that, I think, was the beginning, the real beginning.
Yeah, and I got my bachelor's degree from the University of Edinburgh, and I think the UK and Scotland especially, they've always been much more on the forefront of involving the public and educating the public and the students as well. So I remember that as well, and they have lots of outreach projects and science festivals everywhere. So very, very, very common, and it's very satisfying to share the knowledge, you know, we've gained, and especially the importance of microbiology with the general public. So, and then my goal is I'm envisioning to, you know, write, because usually when you bring a microscope and people see something, the first thing is usually yuck or gross. They're not excited about it. You know, you look into the sky through a telescope and people are awed, but a lot of people look into a microscope and they just think of germs. And I think that's one of the things we really need to change, that everybody is amazed by what we have in and on us rather than finding it, you know, calling it germs. So that's.
Yeah, and you've just brought up a conundrum, because I emphasize so much the issue of relevance. And the thing is that if you think about all the things which are relevant to the general public, actually disease comes up so frequently. So to achieve a balance, to be relevant on the one hand and achieve a balance on the other is not so straightforward.
It's not, but I think we need to emphasize the other side more, because a lot of diseases come through the lack of the microbiome. You know, a lot of gut problems, a lot of health problems, skin problems is because we're too clean. And, you know, I think we are still stuck in the germ theory, you know, from 150 years ago, rather than the hygiene theory, which, you know, we need to integrate into how we treat ourselves and the environment as well. Yeah. We need the microbes. Yeah. We need to take care of them. So yes, that's fantastic. Your talk was absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it.
Well, I hope it's I hope the students enjoy it when they see it.
I definitely think so, and I will send it to teachers and to other areas, if you don't mind, to share that with.
What would be really helpful would be if any of the teachers are enthusiastic to trial some of these topic frameworks, because you know, we really the concept, I think, is relatively new, and so we need feedback in order to be able to tweak where necessary. So I have a letter which can be transmitted to teachers, and providing them with a link to some of the topic frameworks. And I provide a questionnaire, and they don't have to fill in the questionnaire if they're too busy, but if but to provide some feedback, I think would be really helpful. So
yeah, no, if you send it to me, I'd be more than happy to disseminate it in Gainesville and beyond.
Great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm again biggest fan of yours, and I'll do everything I can to promote the message and hopefully make the world a better place in the future through our next generations.
Okay, Monika, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a successful next semester with the students, and manage to excite them and get them really worked up and enthusiastic for microbiology. I think in a sense we have a very easy job with microbes, because they're exciting to work with. They're in the news all of the time, and sometimes for good, sometimes for bad, but still in the news. And so our only problem is the lack of visibility. Yes. And making this mental link between what's happening and and who's the cause of it.
Yeah, we have a microbes in the news activity actually in the Microbes Without Borders class. So they have like a vocabulary each week, and then they pick one of the vocabulary and find something in the current news, which, you know, it's a very easy activity because microbes are in the news a lot. So
yeah, exactly.
We try to make teaching very relevant. For our enumeration in the lab, we use saliva and see a few per mils we have in saliva. So we're really trying to make it personal for the students all the time. So I think we'll spark something here. So I'm gonna continue that. If my students have any questions, do you mind if I send them to you?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right.
Might not be able to respond quickly, but I will respond.
I know you must be so busy with, you know, all the many people you're in touch with, and
Well, I mean, at the moment, I'm getting quite a lot of questions. What's happening to my TF? You know, because we have something like 200 ready now, which means I've edited 200, but there are another 100 waiting for me to edit. You know, and that ignores all of the portrait the gallery portraits and stuff like that. So, and a TF takes anywhere between 2 and 8 hours to edit. So, it is a lot of work. But anyway, I think most people are happy if I just respond and say, I'll get there.
And do you have like a grand reveal of like a website sometime in the future, or what's the plan
Well,
to this?
so the website should have been there already, and in fact, these 200 topic frameworks should have been released already. But part of the problem is that the website is still being created, and it's, you know, people are discussing how to organize it and the rest of it. And part of the problem is me, because I have to write bits of text for it, you know, and I'm just distracted with all of the other stuff going on. So, but I'm hoping that within the next 4 to 8 weeks, it'll go live, and then the stuff will be out there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, please send me the link and let me know when it's live. I'm super excited about it.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
Good
very,
talking
very
with
much.
you.
I really appreciate it.
And I'll try and fix this Zoom thing before the next thing. As I say, I've never had this problem before. You know, just never had the sound problem either before. But yeah,
Oh, it's great when it works.
I think what happens is, you know, the Zoom and Teams, they send out updates, you know, and then something gets changed and you're not aware of it. And anyway,
You made it work.
take care.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Appreciate it.